Welcome to the 95th episode of the Meeple Society, a podcast about board games hosted by two longtime role players turned avid board gamers. My name is Katie.
I'm Greg.
On this episode, we talk about some games we've recently played, ranging from building out dungeon pathways to searching the cosmos for unidentified objects before setting out to explore the universe on a 5-year mission. And then we come full circle back to a castle being overrun with goblins and orcs and trolls. Oh my. But finally, we wrap it up with more space exploration and our first look at Brink. But first, a question for the society that I actually know the answer to. I'm excited.
Yes, you do. And one of the reasons I put it up there. So I found this question on, it was a post on Board Game Geek. And I was like, that is perfect, especially for you.
Yes.
So the question is, how do you record your gameplay? So what I want to do, I'm going to pull up and read the beginning of it. This is Eric Garcia from Board Game Geek. Oh. And he had posted, "Hello, everyone. This is something I wanted to share for a long time. My special notebook where I've been logging in my play since 2022. And Katie's already laughing. I rediscovered modern board games in 2014 and created my Board Game Geek profile in 2016. So unfortunately, not everything is recorded there. In fact, I only started logging my plays on Board Game Geek in 2023. But my personal OCD doesn't allow me to leave out the plays I did in 2022. That was tough, especially since I played 554 games that year. I had a goal to play 194 of my different games, which is what inspired me to start this notebook. Do you have yearly goals too?" He does go on and discuss his book and everything, but I mean, if you ever go on there to look for it, it says My Special Notebook. How do you record your plays? It's on Board Game Geek. You can look it up through the forums. But he does show his book and how he has his games logged. I don't know if you can see that really well, though, but he has the date and the
everything's on
the
one
game.
line.
Yeah, everything's on one line.
How neat and organized.
He has countries listed too, but I'm not sure what that is. And then I guess this is lost by 4, maybe lost by 7.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Some are check marks, some are X's. I'm sure he goes on to explain it down farther. I didn't think we needed to explore that far into the post. I mean, we can if you wish, but let's talk about a certain person's the way we do it.
Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, I will show you a picture of my notebooks, plural notebooks. I think I'm on the 3rd or 4th one now. Now, I will...
Okay. Let me start. I don't get to log games.
Nope, because I have a specific way I do it.
I even have BG stats where, guys, I mean, I have the scorecard and I could actually... I know I've only had it for just here recently.
Yes.
But it could still log the play, and it's one less place you have to put it.
Yes, but I have a system.
Yes,
Don't
I know.
mess with my system.
Yes, I know. You log our gameplays.
I do. So when we play, I start with a notebook.
Yes.
And I log, a page is basically a date. Sometimes dates run over. Sometimes we only play one game on a date, so one page may incorporate multiple dates. But I always start with the date headline. And then the game headline, the name of the game, and then who played and what the scores were. Now, if we're playing someplace away from home, I will make a note of where it was, whether it be Gen Con or Ladies' Night or a BGI event or whatever, vacation, things like that. And then every week or so, I log them in BGG, and I have all of my locations saved. So when you do something and you don't save it the exact same way, it saves weird and it clutters up my list. So I log on BGG, and then I also have a spreadsheet of all of our games, both collections of games. I have a spreadsheet, and on that spreadsheet shows the most recent play. But then if you hover over the cell, this is an Excel spreadsheet. If you hover over the cell, if we've played it multiple times, a little note will pop up and show you all the times we've actually played it. It'll show all the dates we played it. So it's cross-referenced in 3 different places.
Yeah.
Slightly OCD, but
just slightly.
This is my only OCD.
Whenever we go out playing elsewhere, like at a board game indie event or the Dice Tower Retreat, or even at Gen Con,
questions my book anymore.
Now they used to though,
They
but
did.
now they
They
don't.
did.
They're like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. I should do that too. I was like, well, there's an app called BG Stats.
Whatever.
Do the exact same thing.
But it's so annoying because everybody's like, what's your last name? And wait, how do you spell that? And I don't care how it's spelled half the time. And normally I just listen to what other people are telling them because they're so anal about getting last names and it takes too long. I can write much faster than I type on my phone.
Well, it's a retreat though. All you got to do is look over and see what their name is. I mean,
Yeah, I know. Well, at the
their
retreat,
badge.
yes, but not at a BGI event or ladies'
No.
night.
No.
Half the time,
But
ladies'
that's
night
fine.
is just first name.
But once you
That's
put
fine.
them in there, you can click
I know.
on who's playing your game though.
I know. Anyway,
It's just her way, people.
yes, it's my way of doing it.
It's her
Don't mess with it.
organization there.
Don't mess with it.
But yeah, sometimes it's like going, whew. I love explaining it to people when they don't know. It's like, what's that? And I said, that's her game notebook. She goes, they're like, well, why don't you just record on BGG? I was like, oh, she does that too. So she also has an Excel sheet for it. And people are like going, why? I was like going, I don't know. Talk to her.
Because the Excel sheet I've been doing for a really long time. I only started entering them in BGG. Oh my gosh, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And then I just kind of went backwards with everything I had. That was a chore. It absolutely was a chore. So we started playing in 14. My notebook goes back to the start of 18 with a couple of minor exceptions that I found a loose leaf notebook with a dozen or so games from 2016, maybe 15 in it that we started in January. We're going to keep this up. Yeah, it lasted a week. I don't even think it lasted that long. And I didn't write down scores.
Yeah.
I just literally wrote down the name of the game we played.
Yeah.
And
And
I had no idea who
you
played
got
it.
some of them off of my old posts.
Off of old
from
pictures, yep.
Old pictures or old posts
Yeah.
from the Google group I was in.
Yes, I did. I fished through that for quite some time. Actually, while I was sitting in California with Mom when she was recovering from a surgery, I sat there and fished through it and just started entering dates and doing it then because I was just sitting on the couch watching TV with Grandma. So kept me busy.
I'd like to hear the comments.
How do you log?
How does everybody log their plays? Or anybody
excessive?
Let us know. Is Katie a little excessive about her gameplay logging?
But by gosh, there's a history of every game we've played in the last, 7 years, 8 years? 2018 is when I started the notebook.
Mm. There's going to be a lot of those little notebooks lying around the longer we play games.
When we die, the kids are going to find this stash of notebooks with
What
all
is
of our
this? It's
gameplays in it.
That's Mom's logbook of all the games she played.
Yep. Oh, my goodness.
Okay. So, yeah, let us know in the comments. What is the means? What am I trying to say?
How do you log your games?
That's it. How do you log your games? Well, this is what, episode 95?
95.
5 more to go.
Yes.
To episode 100.
We've gotten confirmation from Mark and Jessica
that
they are going to join us. They're going to try. We've got to set a date yet. But they are going to try to join us for our 100th episode. We have no idea what we're going to talk about or what we're going to do, but there you go.
Yep.
It'll be the 4 of us again.
But we'd also love the listeners to join in.
Yes.
By sending us messages of any type. We actually have a Discord channel. It's not really used that much. It's kind of dark right now.
Just a little bit.
It's still there. It's just not really active. We'd love to boost this thing up and be able to talk with all you guys through Discord. And I do have a post in the Discord. I got to remember what I called it now and where it is located, though, but I can find that rather quickly. It's called the 100th episode comment. It is under the subtitle of Meeple Society Podcast. So it's the Meeple Society Discord page, and just go to where it says the Meeple Society Podcast, and then there's sub rooms in there, and the first one is the 100th episode comments, and you go in there and you can post a message in there.
Okay.
Or go to any of the other ones and try and post to see if anybody talks to you.
Well,
and I will get alerts when people are there. And how do you, well, let's put it this way. How do you find our Discord channel? You can follow the social media link in the comments.
Yeah, it's
from
on
the podcast.
Linktree.
It goes through Linktree and you can hit it there. Or you can message us through the Meeple Society page, the like page, or the Facebook page, and just message us and we can send you an invite. And you can come into there that way. So we are actually recording the day before We leave
Vacation.
for the Dice Tower retreat. We are going to be gone for 2 weeks.
Yes. Well, yeah, 13 days.
13
Thereabouts,
days.
yeah.
Might as well be 2 weeks.
It's going to, yeah, right.
So we're actually recording on a Friday. We normally record on a Saturday or a Sunday. But since we leave
tired. I had to work
early
this
Saturday morning for Orlando, Florida.
Yes, we're hoping to be on the road by 6 a.m.
So
6:30.
so if you're listening to this on the day that this is released, which would be what, Monday?
Wednesday
Wednesday the 6th, we are already at the retreat.
That's the day the retreat starts.
Yep. So while you're listening to this, we are sitting down and playing a bunch of games in a crowd of what, about 300?
About 300 people. 350.
With a library of 2,500 games?
Yes, thereabouts.
Very big library.
Yes.
Takes one whole side of the
Conference room.
Conference room that we're at.
Yeah, it does.
Well, it's not a conference room. It's a ballroom.
It's a ballroom. Yes, I'm sorry. You are right. It is a ballroom.
It's a convention center that's in the Royal Caribbean. Yeah, so we will be down there. We are looking to hopefully record down there and maybe have Jeff Knapp from Tabletop Toolbox and the Dice Tower on the show if he makes time for it.
Yeah.
We are staying in the same
suite.
Yeah,
we're staying in the
It's
same.
kind of like a condo
villa.
almost that we're in.
It's a
The
2-bedroom
villa.
villa.
That's right. So hopefully
We'll find time
we'll
at some
find
point.
time. Although he was here for Gen Con staying at our house and we hardly ever seen him.
You're right. We didn't.
So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, though, we do get it on there. We also have plans to possibly vlog our
Road
trip down.
Yeah.
Maybe there at the retreat and then our trip back and put it in one video and throw it up on YouTube for you guys to see.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm ready to go now. Let's just stop here now and just take off.
We still have laundry to finish and we haven't packed yet.
That's easy.
So-
Throw a bunch of games in a bag and go.
I would like to be able to change clothes.
You're no fun. How about we talk about some games?
I think that's a great idea. One game we got played recently at a local BGI event. We do not own this game. To be honest, it never really caught my attention. The box cover has never caught my attention, and had somebody not asked us, hey, do you want to sit down and play this game with us? I probably would not have sat down.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Stonespine Architects. It was released in 2024, plays 1 to 5 players in 45 to 60 minutes, ages 10 and up. Designed by Jordi Adon, art by Jordi Adon, Damien Mamolite, Lucas Ribeiro, and Diego Sa. How do you pronounce the A with the little caret over it? Sa? I don't know.
I guess.
We're going to go with that. All right, and published by Thunderworks Games. So with this game, like I said, it never really caught my attention. And after having played it, I kind of want to play it again.
Yeah.
All right, so the way this plays, you start out the game with just the top to your dungeon, basically your castle floor for all intents purposes. You have 2 little archways. One denotes where your entry is, and one denotes where your exit is. And those are identified on that little stone barrier, the cardboard barrier that looks like stone. So you have to start in a very well, you don't have to. You could avoid connecting your dungeon to the opening. That's on you.
Yeah, because you get a card that shows
That's
you
right, you
certain
get a
areas,
card.
and it shows you where your
You're right.
start
I'm
is
sorry.
at and your exit is at.
You are absolutely right. It is a separate card. I forgot about that card. So, like I said, we only played this one time a couple weeks ago.
And this is in role player.
This is in the role player universe.
And the card we're talking about is kind of like, if you've ever played role player, it's kind of like that dice card where you need to put these dice here for extra points. And depending on how many you actually get in the right spot, you get more points.
And this one, instead of dice, it is various icons. It also shows you, as you stated, your starting spot and your ending spot, that if you want the points for it, you got to connect your openings that way. This plays in 4 rounds. You play, and like I said, it plays 1 to 5 players. We played a 4-player game. You have one more card than the number of players, and you're doing a closed draft. So you pick a card, you pass the rest of the stack a specific direction. And each round, the directions change. You get to choose one of those cards that you have in your hand, and you lay it face down. Or actually, you don't even have to, because what you're doing is not going to affect what anybody else does.
Yes.
Other than the fact you just took a card out of your hand that you're now passing to them, and they don't get the option of taking it.
Right.
That's the only way you're affecting them. So you pick your card, you lay it down somewhere up against that cardboard stone wall. So this is your opening. Now, if you happen to have a pathway that goes up and down, or at least up, it would behoove you to connect it to your opening. Because if you don't connect it to your opening, you are literally losing 1 point per card not connected to an exit.
Yes.
In some fashion. You're playing 4 cards out in this way. So you're playing 4 rounds, 4 cards each. And I guess actually you would just have 5 cards. It's not one number of players plus 1. You would have 5 cards because you play down 4 cards.
Right, but
So
there was always
the last card gets discarded.
The last card gets discarded.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter how many people are in the game. It's always a 5-card pile because you're playing out 4 cards and discarding 1.
Correct.
At all times. You're picking all these cards out of the first round. You're laying them down in the very first row of your dungeon the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on that goal card, it will give you various symbols. It may be treasure chests. It may be goblins. It may be other monsters. It may be the green ooze or whatever.
That's the gelatinous
cube. Okay, purple ooze and gelatinous cubes.
Yes.
So that card may tell me, okay, my entrance is second from the left, but I also need a treasure chest third from the left.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for cards that will let me do that and yet still connect their pathways. After the first round's done, you discard the last card, you go for the next round. You're still trying to keep your pathways connected. You are still looking for various icons to put in very specific places.
Yes.
Some of them may be as simple as they need to be cavernous. Others may need to be stone. There's all sorts of different icons on these cards that you are looking at to try to get into specific places. The more you can match, the better the points are at the end of the game. And they range from 5 points if you get 4 of them correct, all the way up to 20 points if you get all 8 symbols in the right place. That's harder than it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Additionally, at the end of every round, and I kind of skipped over this, but at the end of every round, you are going to count up the money you have. The bottom of every card are coins. There are also treasure chests on the cards. Now, as the rounds progress, you are covering up the coins on the previous round's cards. So you only get those coins 1 round.
Mm-hmm.
But the treasure chests are buried in the dungeon. Those stay up. You see them, so you get to count them every round. You might end up with 10 or 15 coins each round. With that, whoever has the most coins gets to choose from some various chips that are set aside. These chips could connect 2 cards that are not previously connected. Maybe your dungeon path did not work the way you wanted it to.
Yes.
So it connects them. It might give you an extra trap. Traps may be a scoring condition that you have from a card. I'll come back to that. It could be extra monsters. It could be extra
like
gelatinous cubes. Yeah, the tunnel connects 2 cards that, I said that.
Okay.
The tunnel connects 2 cards that were not previously connected. It helps fix your path errors. But once you pass, you don't have to spend the money. But if you don't spend it, you don't get to keep it. You go back to 0, and you immediately get, as you pass, you get your choice of 1 of 4 scoring condition cards that are out there, or there's enough for the number of players. You put out the same number as there are players, because everybody gets one.
When you pass, you got one? I thought you had to buy one.
Nope. When you pass, you get one.
Okay.
So the earlier you pass, the better choices you get.
Yep. Correct.
So, and some of these cards could be as simple as you get 2 points for every gelatinous cube in the inner 4 squares. Or you get 2 points for every trap along your
connected
lines. Something along that. It could just give you straight up points. The cards are very advantageous. And like I said, the sooner you pass and forego some of those chips, the sooner you get to claim the good ones, the better ones. That's basically the whole game. You play through 4 rounds like this. On the last round, there are no chips involved because your dungeon is set. But you still get, there's no cards involved.
No cards.
You still get chips. There's no cards involved. You score up points based on your dungeon. You get points for every card that is connected to either your exit or your entrance to the dungeon. You get points for all of the scoring cards you picked up throughout the game. So you do get those. You get points for any stars that happen to be on your cards that you picked up. So there's a number of different ways. And then there's some group goals. Like at the game end, whoever ends the game, passes first, gets so many points, etc. There's an extra group goal out there, and there was a personal goal.
Yes.
So you're scoring all of this. And then whoever scores the most wins. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
I lost miserably. I do remember that.
Look up in one of your many ways of logging the
I've got BGG
games
right in front of me. Yeah, you and I came in at 78 and 80. I lost. It was 78. Bruce came in at 105 and Mark came in at 102. They had both played the game before.
Yes.
I was so focused on making my path work.
Yes.
That I didn't, it's not like I forgot everything else. I was still looking for gelatinous cubes because that was one of my scoring cards. Yeah. I was still looking for what I needed to. But I was so focused on that path that everything else took a back seat.
I was somewhat focused on that path, but I was focused on that in-game scoring card of sets of a goblin, a kobold, and something else, the other monster, and I can't remember.
That one card you picked up?
Yeah. Well, no, that was the the kobold one was the in-game. Okay, but the other one I had, it was for every set you had. So one of all three of them. And I kept getting those monsters and picking those cards up and making sure I was getting cards with treasure chests on them too, so I'd have more money to buy things. And Yeah.
I ended up with 15 of my 16 cards connected. So I got 30 points.
Yeah, I think you had the most cards connected.
I did. I absolutely did. Even Bruce was shocked.
I only had like 10 or 11 of them, I think,
I had
that
all
I had
mine,
connected.
all but one connected in that. And it was literally the last card I drew. There was just no way to connect it. Or the last card that got handed to me.
I think halfway through the game, I was like, I'm not getting all these connected, so I'm going for...
Yes.
The
you only beat me by
cards.
2 points.
Yes, I know.
We were nowhere close. Yeah. I would like to play this one again. We do not own it.
We can play it at the retreat, because I'm sure it's in, the retreat in the library.
I'm sure it is. I would like to play this one again and spend some time figuring it out.
Yep.
I really enjoyed this one. But anyway, that is Stonespine Architects. I kept wanting to call it Stonespine Architects from Thunderworks Games.
Okay, I'm going to talk about a very large two-player game.
Yes.
And a very crunchy two-player game at that.
Okay, so we're not going into space just yet, guys. We're going to stay on the ground.
I did move that around there, didn't I?
That's okay. Go ahead and
go
for it.
But I am going to talk about a game called Stronghold. Now, we have the first edition of Stronghold.
We do.
So Stronghold was released in 2009. That is the version we got. That is first edition. There is a second version out of it. And there's also an undead Stronghold. But this was designed by Ignacy. How do you say that name?
Chevicek.
Huh?
Ignacy Chevicek.
Chevicek. Okay.
I listened to his podcast.
Artist by Maruza Genzel.
That I cannot help you with.
Tomaz. Oh, geez. Jedruzik. And Michael Orzak. It was published by Portal Games. So Stronghold is a castle defense game where one player is playing the defenders, defending the castle, and the other player is playing the invaders, that is playing all the goblins and orcs and trolls. The setup can be very variable because the invaders will have 6 cards sitting out in front of them, numbered, and those are the phases of each round. And like on the first one, which is the standard card for every play of the basic game, there is an advanced mode in this. I don't know about the second edition. We have not played the second edition yet, but in the first edition, there was a basic mode and then there was an advanced mode, different color cards. But the one card, the first phase is always the same. You got 14 little minions you draw out of the bag, and then you got 5 pieces of resources, which is lumber, that you are going to build your stuff with. Mm-hmm. The second through 5th is variable. You could pick whatever you want, whichever of those cards are. And there's like 4 cards of 2s, and there was 4 3s and 4 4s and 4 5s that you could pick and choose from. And those gave off different things. Like card 2 on this one is where you're building your siege weapons, like your trebuchets, your catapults. There's another one. It's kind of like a crossbow, but there you would spend your wood, that resources and everything, and you would spend some of your monsters because it's going to take some of these to build. Like some of them, it may have taken like 3 goblins, or you could spend a troll and do it. The reason they have that is because for every monster you spend building something, you give the defender that much time for them to react and do things on their side to prepare for your attack. The third card was, I think it was equipment you could buy. There was a training one, and then there's one where there was rituals that you could put out. And then the last one is how many people you're going to move. And like if you wanted to move like 5 people in each area, it was going to give the defender three time to be able to spend to do something with. Then there's a camp card. So once you get done all moving and everything, and you wasn't able to move everything, and you still had monsters in your camp, now you're going to spend time for however many monsters in your camp. 0 to 3 monsters still in your camp cost you nothing. You didn't give anybody time. But if you went over that, you start giving the defender time. So what do you do with time? The defenders use time to like build cauldrons. And like a cauldron, depending on the cauldron, it could take up to two time, maybe 3 time, depending on the cauldron you're building. Because you can make cauldrons for the orcs, and you could make cauldrons for the trolls, and you can make cauldrons for the goblins. Plus, there is one that for the wall tower that they can build, the breach walls that they could build up to put in it. You could build cauldrons for that as well. Or you can train your people to be either from marksmen to be stronger, because their people that's sitting on the wall is going to count for that part of the wall's defense. Right. So it's kind of a numbers game, and as the invaders attack the wall, they have to come up with all their points that they have. And then the defender comes up with however many points their men on the wall plus their walls, sections there. You add those together, and then you subtract the lowest one from the highest one. And whoever had the lowest number is going to subtract that many points of defense out of their area. So like if it was the defenders that were 1 and the invaders missed it by 2, they have to take 2 points off, which would be like maybe 2 goblins if they were on the wall, or they could take off like 1 orc, which was like 2 points. The whole goal of the game is for the invaders to breach the wall. And how they do it is when they go up on hand-to-hand and they go up against a wall and they defeat the wall and they still have points to be given out. If there's nothing left to take out, no more people to take out, they breach the wall. And this is where the game comes to an end, or after 10 rounds. There's also a board off to the side that has victory points on it. The defenders have victory points if they do certain things during the game. One of them, well, you got victory points every round. The defenders got victory points every round that the invaders did not breach.
Correct. So we started with nothing in that pile, but got 1 for. I played the defenders.
And we keep, as I was saying, we keep talking about it as if I was the invaders this time and you were the defenders this time. We trade back and forth whenever we play this.
Started with nothing in that pile, but I started with 4 victory points along the side of my board that gave me special abilities from round 4 on if I chose to use them.
Yes, if you
more
used
defense,
it,
more walls, more whatever.
Right, if you used it, you lost the victory points.
Correct.
If you didn't, those were victory points for the end of the game.
They were my base score, yes.
And then the invaders also had little things that they could, but theirs was a little bit tougher. They had to do the action to get the victory
not
points.
just avoid the action.
The one I remember I did get, other than the breach wall one, was 4 trolls on one wall. Yes. And I had to plan it out, trying to figure out, how do I get it here? How do I get it there? Oh, wait a minute. The spot I was going to go with, I can only put 3 people up on the wall, so I can't get 4 people. Nope. Okay, now I got to pivot now. Now where do I got to go? Now, each group has their own siege weapons that they're going to be firing during the round, and the siege weapon amounts to a stack of cards that you get to put. It's like 2 hits and 5 misses. On the invader side, I don't know what it was on the
defense.
I don't remember what it was.
1 miss,
there.
5 hits.
Okay.
We didn't have a deck.
1 miss, 5 hits?
Yes, and I still missed like at least a third of the time.
And I was hitting constantly.
I know.
But I also had a thing that I could build that would allow me to put another hit into my decks.
And I had a thing I could build that put another miss in your deck, and you still never pulled the silly things.
Mm-hmm. When you're using these siege weapons on the invader side, if they pulled a miss, they missed for that round, but that miss leaves the stack. It goes back to the supply.
Right.
If they hit, that hit stays in it. So basically, as the more they use it, the better they become with it and the more they'll hit with it.
Right.
It's up to the defender to get more miss cards back into those decks.
Which just took, I think it was 1 or 2 time, I think it was. It was basically sabotaging your machine.
Yes, yeah. There was 2 different ways to breach the castle. One was by going over the walls, breaching the walls, or if you had the card out that allowed you to build the battering ram.
Right.
So, and you built the battering ram by each turn, 1 piece each turn, and you could put your minions out on those battering rams. It was going to add to the defense of it because there you could have had marksmen on top of the towers right there at the main gate to shoot down on us.
Yes, I could have.
And try and take us out.
And I would have. If,
I know.
If that had been in the game. But that was one of the cards we did not have.
Now,
in
the
this
cool
game.
thing that I liked, I know you hated the fact that I had it, that the invaders had it. They have a shield that goes in front of the area where the marksmen can actually shoot down into, but it did not block the cannons. So you were good on the cannons.
Yes.
And I realized,
Which I couldn't
I've
seem
got
to hit with.
I need to spread out my people around here. So you need to try and focus on other places. So you're not just focusing on the one area, because I had a training token there on that weapon that it goes off with the siege weapons. And then at the end of that round of actions, if I had any goblins there, for each goblin I got, that weapon got to shoot. And you did not like that because you could not hit my goblins anymore because I had them shielded. And I got smart where I was building that shield before I moved anybody into that area. And I even went back and tried to look through the rules. I said, is that fair? And nowhere did it say you had to have people there. They're building it in camp.
Just carrying it with them. I think that makes sense. It's just a wood wall.
But now let's compare this. Like we said, we have not played the 2nd edition of this.
We have not.
And most definitely have not played the undead version of this. I don't know if I do want to play the undead version of it.
No, and that one came out shortly when I was listening to the podcast that Ignacy Trevicek and Bonacore did.
Does, yes.
Stephen Bonacore did. I don't know if they still do. I'm assuming they do. I don't know.
I don't know.
But they kept talking about it, and he finally said, okay, fine, I'm going to do it. And because I guess somebody had mentioned it, and he'd promised it, and it got delayed and delayed and delayed, and finally he just said, fine, we'll do it. And it came out.
Well, I know the guys at Rolling Dice and Taking Names were constantly on him about it because Portal Games was one of their sponsors.
Yeah.
So they were they knew Ignacy, and they were constantly badgering him about getting this game out because he had promised it for so long. And finally it came out. But the difference between 1st and 2nd edition, the 2nd edition board is a lot bigger. And don't get me wrong, the 1st edition board is not small in any means.
No, it's really not.
Our table's almost 3 feet wide. It's not a game table. It's just a regular table.
It's a dining table, but it's perfect for the room.
Yeah, because we have a long, narrow game room.
Yeah.
But anyway, and it almost goes from side to side.
Yeah, there was not a lot of room on the
sides. Almost enough for my cards over there for the round cards. The 2nd edition is probably maybe a third bigger.
Yeah. It looks really wide. I'm not 100% sure that would even fit on our table.
Yeah, but here's the difference, guys. 1st edition board, in our opinion, looks a whole lot better.
I feel like the artwork looks more refined on the 2nd edition, but I don't like the lack of color.
I don't know if it's more defined.
I don't know.
Refined?
There are
I know it
a lot
shows
more icons on there.
Yeah, it shows
outside of the
where
castle.
the siege machines can go and your troops can go.
Right.
In the 1st edition, you don't get that. You just have the areas where they go. They don't have the pictures of the siege machines that can go in those areas, which is fine. It tells you have each team has its own rule book.
Yes.
Defenders have their own book. The invaders have their own book, and all the stuff you need to know about your side is in that book.
All the basic rules are in there for the overall play, plus what
so
you
when
need
you
to know.
look up the siege machine, like the trebuchet, it'll tell you it goes in one of the outer areas.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they called that, though, but...
The embattlements?
No.
I could be totally wrong. I don't remember.
But anyway, the 2nd edition shows you exactly where they go. No problem. Shows you where your troops go. No problem. The 1st edition, it told you how many people by a number. The 2nd edition only has the little squares and tells you how many people can go in there. I think it's easier when you see the numbers.
I'd be wanting to line
the guys up. Now, the biggest thing, though, that I don't like about the 2nd edition, other than the color, the actions are on cards.
Yeah.
And you have to for the inside, for the castle. First edition, they're all inside the castle.
In various locations inside the castle.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like this building,
board.
At this building in this castle, you are doing potions. And at this building, it's the hospital.
I wonder if they took and made it card based on both sides. Again, to give more variability for the defender as well as the attacker.
Possibly.
And that may be it, but I felt like the picture we saw, it was literally covering the board. I guess it wouldn't have to cover the board. You could just put them on the table. But then what are you doing on the board? I guess where all your people are. But I don't know. I prefer our smaller table. The smaller table, yes. The smaller board. I prefer the coloring on the first board. I don't know.
What I see is if you take first edition and take the coloring and everything like that, it's kind of like Castles of Burgundy Deluxe. And then second edition is kind of like the game Notre Dame. That was just kind of brown.
Very brown. Yeah.
It's a very brown board with some trees out there on the outside edges of it and a little splash of red here and there, but the rest of it's brown. Yeah. Well, it has the Blue River going through there, though. It
does have the river.
But it's so brown.
I would want to see it in person.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, you love this game.
Oh, I love this game.
I will play it.
You'll play. It's like you're with this game like I am with Castles of Burgundy.
Yes.
If I want to play this, you will play it.
Yes.
If you want to play Castles of Burgundy, I'll play it.
Right, exactly.
Not my favorite game, but I will play it. One reason why we haven't gotten the deluxe version of it.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is Stronghold. Check it out.
All right, the next one I'm going to talk about is one we picked up recently at the Barnes & Noble sale. This is The Search for UAPs. UAPs meaning unidentified anomalous phenomena. And then the little tagline on the box says, there is something out there. Anyway, so The Search for UAPs was released in 2024 by Bezier Games and Renegade Game Studios. Plays 1 to 5 players, 45 to 60 minutes, 14 plus. Designed by Ted Alspach, art by Tim Burton and
Barton.
I'm sorry. These contacts they focus really well far away and they focus okay close up, but this angle, nope. Especially small print.
Old people always blame their eyes.
Old people eyes, yes. I'm sorry. Tim Barton and Janos Orban.
You got easier names.
I did get easier names. And I didn't even do that on purpose. All right. So the idea with Search for UAPs, this is a logic deduction puzzle. This is the third game in the Search for Planet X. Thank you. I started to go the Search for the Lost Species. No, that's the second game in this series. The first game is the Search for Planet X,
which we have not played yet. Lost Species.
Yes, we have not played Lost Species. We have played Planet X actually quite a few times.
Quappa Nerds has Lost Species, though.
Yes, I want to play that one with them. So similar to Search for Planet X, you are searching the night sky for various objects. You are moving around the Earth to survey various objects using a companion app, just like Search for Planet X. So you've got the app. The app, when somebody starts the game, will give you a 4-digit code. Everybody else plugs that code into their app, so everybody is playing with the same information. What you do and what you search will be different, but you are all obtaining the same basic information, just possibly at different intervals. The board for this one is a magnetic circular board that runs in 2 pieces. Actually, technically 6 pieces. So you've got your outer orbit, you've got your inner orbit. Each of those orbits has 8, on the beginner mode, has 8 sections in it. And throughout the game, that orbit, the inner orbit, is going to turn so that your night sky changes. You have the Earth in the middle, and you are moving around the Earth with one of your player pieces to identify where you are in relation to what sector of night sky. And that tells you what sector you're able to search or make identification in. You are going to survey and use various logic rules to locate these all sorts of things. There's various spy satellites and space junk and meteors that you're looking for. There is the Hubble telescope out there you're looking for. The International Space Station. There were some communication satellites you're looking for. Also on the board, though, before I forget these, in each section of the Earth, there is a game-changing qualifier. And it comes with probably 24 of these things. I didn't count them, but there's a lot of them. In your first game, it tells you which ones to use. And actually, I take that back. in the game, it tells you which ones to use. You can choose your own if you opt to, but you have to tell the app that you're changing out what it suggested. And these are just little quarter circles that slot into the board that give you various information. Like one of the ones in the picture I'm looking at is overcast. And overcast says that while you're looking at that section of the sky, from that section of the earth, I should say, while you're looking at that section of the earth, you can't take pictures. I'm going to come back to the pictures though. One of them says full moon. The full moon indicates that if that is the section of sky you're looking at, then you can't survey or target in that area. It's too bright. You're not going to see anything through the telescope. There were other ones, like we had the hurricane. Mm-hmm. It took extra actions to move through that area because of the hurricane in that part of the world. So it's all different things, and these stay locked into the planet itself. So the night sky is going to continue to change. If you want to see Sector 2 and you're in the overcast section, you know what's in Sector 2, you want to take a picture, you're going to have to wait till Section 2 gets to some other area that's not overcast and then move and do your picture. So there's ways around it, but it just adds a little more thematics to the game, I think. All right, how this one runs. On your turn, you are telling the app what you are doing. You're going to survey, and you tell it what sectors you're looking at. Unlike Planet X, where you can survey up to 6 areas, you can literally survey half of the rotation. In this one, you've only got a quarter of the rotation. However, in that quarter rotation are 4 sections. You can tell it that you are surveying for a specific object, and you are going to survey in the outer orbit, or you are going to survey in the close orbit, or you're going to survey a specific pie piece. But you tell it
the stack.
The stack, thank you. That's what they called it. So you're going to survey, you're going to get an answer. Maybe I am going to survey sections 3 and 4 and 15 and 16 for meteors. In the picture I'm looking at, the moon's in 15. I know I'm not going to find a meteor there because you can only ever have one object. But that tells me that I'm not going to have many meteors in 3 either. Well, no, that's not true.
No.
3 does not start in front of 15. Meteors are a whole nother issue. They start out the game stacked. That's one of those hard and fast rules. Mm-hmm. Let me come back to those hard. Actually, I'm going to segue to those hard and fast rules real fast. We'll come back to this. Like any logic game, this starts out with those hard and fast rules. These never change. Game to game, they are the same. The game will identify where the moon is because, gosh darn it, we can all see where it's at. We know where it is in the night sky. So it's going to tell you where it's at. As soon as you find out where the moon is, it will also tell you, hey, guys, the Hubble telescope is not next to the moon. So you can cross off the Hubble telescope in all of the areas that are adjacent to the moon. It will tell you that meteors are stacked. So, for instance, the game board starts out with the 9 and the 16 stacked together, right? No, the 1 and the 9 are stacked. Yeah. The 9 and the 1 are stacked together. If there's a meteor shower in 9, I know there's a meteor shower in 1 because that's how it started. But if I know there's no meteor shower in 15 because that's where the moon's at, then I know darn well there is no meteor shower in
7.
Thank you, 7. I had to stop and do the math there.
I did the math for you. As soon as you gave me a number, I was like, which one was it?
So I know that I can cross that meteor shower off of 7. That immediately eliminates that as an option. It will tell me that spy satellites can only be in odd numbers. Well, that's how they're depicted on the board. So they couldn't be found anywhere else. Communication satellites can only be found in even numbers.
And they're only on the even numbers on your board.
Yes, and they're only on the even numbers. But they can only be found in the close orbit. Mm-hmm. They can't be found in the outer orbit. So there's already hard and fast rules on your board. Mm-hmm. So once you figure out what the app is telling you, great, I have no meteor showers in that whole section I was just looking at. I can cross off the meteors on all of those I just looked at and the ones that were connected at the start of the game. So that eliminates potentially 8 sectors for me. Of course, it could tell me I found 1. Great. Where is it? So, and that's where you have notes. That's where you start taking notes so that as you start to narrow down, you still have your notes as to go off of. This is one of those games that whoever uses the least amount of time, whoever moves the least, because once you've done your action, the app is going to tell you how far you move ahead in time. I've heard people call it the ratchet system. Mm-hmm. So whoever is last in the time track is the first to go. So if one player does something that takes 5 time, but the next player only does a couple of 2s, they're going to get to go a few times before you get to go again. It's all part of that, hey, what I was doing was a whole lot harder and took a lot more time to do than what you're doing. So therefore, you get more done in a night. This whole game is dry erase. I'll be honest, I would at least prefer the notes section to be pencil and paper. I get the dry erase on the boards because they're everything is magnetic. So you turn it, I get why that's dry erase, because the magnets wouldn't work very well with pen and paper.
No.
And I'm okay with that one, although it was very messy. I would rather have my notes section be pen and paper, so I may make some photocopies and just use pen and paper and recycle. I don't know. But we'll see. The next time we play it, we'll see. But other than that dry erase note board, that's really my only deterrent to this game. I love the logic deduction games. I always have. I love the way it makes you think outside the box. It makes you start making those deductions to find out exactly what you're how do I word that? Where what you're looking for is. That makes sense. I think that's the way it should be said. So taking photographs, one of the things I said I was going to come back to and I didn't. This equates to writing up the thesis papers in Search for Planet X.
Yes.
Once you figure out what's there and you are in that sector of sky, you can take a photograph. Actually, I don't even think you have to be in that sector, do you? I know in Planet X you don't have to be. I feel like in this one you did. He's going to look it up real quick. But either way, once you figured out what's in the area.
Submit one face down photo in current quadrant.
Okay.
So you had to be in the quadrant.
Okay. So once you figure out what's there, you take one of your photographs, and everybody has the exact same set. You take one of your photographs, you put it on the board face down. When there is a reveal, and it happens every so often in the game, then whoever's photographs are laying there get flipped over. They stay there for points at the end of the game. But if it's correct, and the app will tell you if you're correct or not, if it's not correct, you take your photograph back and it leaves the game because you can't play it again. But if it is correct, you keep it there, but it also tells every other player what's in that quadrant. So it starts giving clues. If it was a meteor shower, then you know what one of the other quadrants is now because they're stacked. If it was the Hubble telescope you found or somebody else found for you, I'm sorry, not the Hubble telescope, the space station, the International Space Station. Well, the space station, according to the hard and fast rules, is always next to space junk. Well, one of the areas around that's got to be space junk. The space station's in 12, and you already know 11 is a meteor shower. Well, then that means that 13 must be space junk. I just love that deduction and that, oh my gosh, I hope I haven't missed something. I think I'm right, but let me check. I love that. And there are ways to check yourself. No, and I don't mean going back through history. I mean, you can use a turn to survey an area and just look for that to find out if you're right. It's wasting time, but you can do
5 times, if I'm not mistaken.
Four. I think the targeting is 4. Searching for the UAP is 5. I absolutely adore this game. We've only gotten to play it the one time so far for the Playing Through Our Collection video, but I'm hoping after we get back from the retreat, we can, even if I just dig into it solo, I wouldn't mind digging into this one solo. All right, so that is the Search for UAPs. Like I said, very interesting deduction game. Oh, actually, a lot harder than Search for Planet X, honestly. I felt like it was much more intense. I don't know if, I didn't count sections. I want to say there were the same number of sectors. There were 12. No, I think in the Search for Planet X, there was 12 in the base game, 16 in this one, because you had the stacked sectors. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to digging into this one some more.
Okay, so another game we got to play. We played this on our cooperative Sunday with Doug and Sarah after we got done playing another game that we always been playing, that we've been playing for a while.
We have.
And we've already discussed it. Anyway, this was a Star Trek 5-year mission. This, good Lord, how would you explain this? Well, let's first tell you where it's from. This is a 3 to 7 player game, 30 to 45 minutes. It was released in 2015, designed by David E. Whitaker, or is that Whitaker? That would be Whitaker. And published by Mayfair Games. There is no artist credited on this. So in 5-year mission, you are...
It's cooperative. Start there.
Yeah, it is cooperative. You are drawing a card to put out. You always draw one card at the beginning of your turn to put out one of the missions. Yeah. One of the 3, whether it be a blue mission, a red mission, or a yellow mission. and you're going to put it in order, and then you have your dice. You have 2 blues, 2 reds, and 1 yellow, correct? That you start with?
So, yeah. I think that's the starting.
And each card is going to show you dice with pips on it and the color dice you needed. So, like, if it was a card that showed a blue 5, you need to roll a blue 5. If it had an arrow above it, it meant 5 or more. Or if it had an arrow below it, it meant 5 or less. So if you rolled a 6, it couldn't be put on that card. But you're placing your dice on the cards where you can, trying to get these missions to come out. Different cards did different things. It may have given you a one-time power afterwards that you could play. It gives you points at the end of the game, or it could be a card that comes out and has a yellow alert sign on it. It means now you also have to roll a yellow alert.
And this is how the game balloons out of control.
It could have a timer on it, which now you have to put a 3-minute timer on that card, and you only got until that 3 minutes is up to finish that card off. Now, if you don't finish the card off, not a lot happens. If there was points on it, you don't get the points.
Unless there's some notation on there saying,
there could be notation on the bottom.
The Enterprise takes damage if you fail this mission.
Yeah, so like this one, it says you are injured.
Okay, so that person loses a die.
There's ones on there that has red alerts that you can pull red alerts. You can never have more than 3 of each color out there.
Right, so maximum of 9 missions.
Like I said, as you play, okay, you roll your dice, you put them out, and then it's the next person's turn. And you take care of anything you can do. If you finish any of them off, you take them off. You collect the ones that give you points. The other ones go in the discard pile. The next player pulls a card, pulls one of the alerts, puts it out, and then rolls their dice. When you come back to your turn, you get to draw back up to the 5 dice as long as there's
from
dice
a general pool,
in the general pool. So the dice that are coming off cards don't go back to you. They go to a general pool at the top of the board, and then you get to select. And if it's your turn and you've got 3 dice in your hand, there's no more in the general pool. You've only got 3 dice to roll.
You do.
I think that happened to me once.
That happened to me once, yeah.
We've played this once before we realized it was a 3+ player game.
Yes.
And we tried to play it at 2 player. I mean, it could work at 2 players.
It could.
But I think the more players, it made it better.
The better it is, yeah.
At the beginning of the game, too, you get to pick whether you want to be the original series or Next Generation. So, and the cards will be different when you pull them out, though. So to win the game, you had to have a certain amount of points depending on what level you were. We needed 12 points.
Lieutenant, and we needed 12.
We failed that.
We failed it once, and we played again, and we made it the second time. We tried to go one step higher, and then finally decided, nope, let's just go for Lieutenant.
Yeah, because we was just like, okay, let's go to the lower one. We got the 10 points we needed, and it was like, let's go and see how far we go.
Yeah,
we got to 12, and then we couldn't get it done. But to lose it is if you have 5 failed missions of the ones that like you could never get it done, and you had to put another one out, so you'd have to discard one off the board.
Yeah,
it becomes a failed mission if you have 5 of those. So I think this time we had a little more fun with it because there was 4 of us.
Yes.
And there's a reason why it's a 3 to 7 player game.
Yes.
Because 2 players, there's not enough people.
And when you've only got 10 dice floating around to try and resolve all these cards, like I said, there was one time we had burnt through the pool.
Yeah.
There was nothing left in it. And you start with like 5 dice in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 25 dice roaming around, or maybe it was only 3 dice in the pool, 1 of each. I don't remember. But regardless, at one point, we had so many points out on cards we couldn't resolve because we had to get one of the Federation cards done first, or we lost it. We finally had to give up and lose it because we could not roll that combination. And it had to be played as a set. We couldn't just piecemeal it like we had all the other cards. If there's only 10 dice floating around, or 13 with the pool, there's just not enough dice floating around once you get 9 cards out there you're working on.
Yeah. And one of the parts in here that it was so stressful is when you do have an urgent card, that's one of the ones with the timer on it. We ended up going to my phone and bringing up a timer because we get one done and then another one come out. And now we got to sit there and wait for a second to let the timer clear out. So we just went to the phone and started using it. But there is also a prime directive card, a symbol that comes out on the cards, which means you have to do that one first before any of the other ones finish, or you'll lose the prime directive card, correct?
Right. It becomes a failed mission.
Yes.
If you finish anything else first, you lose that card.
So that makes it hard when you've got a card that's being timed versus a prime directive. If you lose either one of them, that's a failed mission that you're going to have to deal with.
I think we finally ended up giving up on the prime directive card because we had like 4 others out there ready to finish. We just couldn't. Yeah. Literally, they needed 1 die on them, and we were done.
Yep.
So yeah, we ended up having to fail
you also
one
had
mission.
cards that you get to use someone's ability. So everybody was a crew member of either Next Generation or the original, and each one had a special thing that they could do. Like in the Next Generation, like Picard was during replenishment, you may take one extra die from the pool if one is available. So, and that was what
That was Doug.
That was Doug. Doug played that one.
So he always had a dice pool of 6 if there was anything available.
Yeah, and I had the one where one time on your turn after resolving an event, take one die from the pool, roll it, and use it immediately.
Right.
So I was always getting one out of there.
I was able to heal people.
I did not see the Wesley Crusher card.
I didn't either. I wonder if that one just didn't get flipped over or something. I don't know.
And his is, after rolling, exchange one die with a die from the pool, roll it before replacement. If all crew say, shut up, Wesley, you can exchange 2 dice. That would have made that we would have been laughing.
Funny. I was Beverly Crusher.
Yeah, you were Bev.
And I was able to heal. I could take one die, and whatever I rolled on that one blue die, whatever I rolled on that die, I could heal that many people, that many dice of people.
So it was, the game was, I think, like I said, I enjoyed it better this time around with 4 players than at 2 players. It's definitely not a game for 2 players.
No, I don't think
considering, yeah, they say it's best at 4. And it's a pretty light game. It's a 1.73 on a scale of 5 on BDG.
Yeah,
so
it's not a hard game. That being said, good luck finding it at this point. I'm sure
because
there
I'm sure it's out of
copies out there, but
this was this a true Mayfair? Yeah, this was a true Mayfair game.
Yeah.
So you'd have to find this in the secondary market because only Mayfair published this one.
Yeah.
So if you like Star Trek, try it out.
Just do it with 4 people.
That's Star Trek 5-Year Mission. So we had a comment.
We did.
Comment on the last podcast. I got this through Facebook Messenger. This was from John. I don't want to mispronounce John's last name, but I think it's Kohler. Hopefully I got it right, because last time I tried to pronounce somebody's name, I called it a she, and it was a him. I am so sorry. So, John, if I pronounced it wrong, I'm sorry. So his comment was about Sprocket Forge, because I talked about Sprocket Forge on the last podcast, one of the games we got at Gen Con. Sprocket Forge is a game of resource management where you have little sprockets on your board where you're turning them and getting resources off of them. And you can get an upgrade for it where it's metal sprockets instead of the plastic sprockets that comes with the game. And don't get me wrong, the plastic sprockets are just fine.
They're good and heavy, and they're not $70.
But this was his comment that we got on. And when I first saw, I laughed so hard when I seen that.
You said this to me at work, and I cracked up.
Yeah, so he said, John said, Sprocket Forge complete with metal sprockets, and he showed me a picture of it. All your fault. I was perfectly fine not knowing this game existed. And then I commented, hey, we're not responsible for what you do after we talk about a game. And jokingly with him. And he says, adds almost 4 pounds of fun to the game. Totally worth it. He thinks, hey, thanks for putting your podcast on YouTube. I love all of your content, but I'd completely miss your podcast if it weren't for them being on YouTube.
Well, that makes it worthwhile for all of the effort to get the pictures in and put it out a second time. So
yes, because I've listened to podcasts on YouTube that don't have pictures on you're doing is looking at their logo, and it's kind of like...
Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go like to iTunes, whatever, and listen to it in my earbuds as I'm driving or what have you.
Well, and that's how most people do. Mm-hmm. But I also know that sometimes...
people sit down on YouTube and watch it.
And there were some times, the very first few we started putting out on YouTube, which I think was like 48.
Something like that.
I want to say it was like right when Mark and Jess left. It didn't have pictures. I literally took what you did, put a thumbnail on it, threw it up on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But then it just... The more we talked about games, I wanted to show all these neat pictures we had, and it just kind of transformed into what it is now.
Yep.
Eventually, maybe we'll do video.
We've always talked about possibly doing video, not live video.
No, not live video.
So many. If you guys could hear all the flubs that we do in this game, and all the times we have to stop because somebody has to cough, and that would all be in the live shots too.
We record for about 2.5 to 3 hours sometimes, and we get it down to an hour and a half. So that tells you how much rambling we cut out.
Mm-hmm. Well, to give you an idea, we haven't gone through the first look yet. We're still here on questions and comments, and we're at 1 hour and 18 minutes.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So now that you know, now you'll see where we actually ended up when we do all the editing.
Right.
So speaking of first look, thanks, John, for your comment.
Absolutely.
We loved it. Made my day.
Yes, mine too.
Now, speaking of first look, we are going to do first look. There you go. There's a flub.
I'll leave that one in.
Gee, thanks. So we're going to take a look at Brink. It's our first look at Brink. We've played it once now.
We have. We got an opportunity to play this past weekend at a BGI event. Mike DeLisio from the Dice Tower had brought it in. He had the review. The review.
I'm keeping that in.
He had the review copy with him and wanted a couple of other friends to play it with him. We were sitting at the table. We had just finished playing Stonespine Architects, and they asked us if we wanted to play this one too. It played up to 5 players. They had never played it 5-player, and we were afraid it would really lengthen the game. It did not. I felt like it was still a very fast game, considering the time on this. So the stats on Brink. Brink was released this year, 2025, from Ivy Studios. From my understanding, it is just now starting to go to Kickstarter. So it is still, or not Kickstarter, not going to, fulfilling off of Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's being fulfilled.
Right. This plays 2 to 5 players. Designed by Max Anderson, Zach Dixon, and Austin Harrison. How's that for easy names? But they don't list artists. That's sad.
They don't?
Okay. There's no artist listed. Anyway, plays 2 to 5 players in 60 to 150 minutes, ages 14 and up. Okay, so, and you're going to have to forgive us. We literally played this one time. I have no rule book in front of me. I'm going completely off the top of my head. This is a space exploration game at heart. You start off in the middle of the board with a sector of 5 hexes, and each of those hexes is a different color. Each of those hexes give you different abilities and different resources. Everybody has 3 ships that they're going to place out. They have a single ship that goes in the middle of a hex tile. They have a double ship, basically a medium ship, that goes onto the edge of 2 hexes combined. And then they have a triangular large ship that goes into the intersection of 3 hexes, kind of like a city or a village in Catan.
Mm-hmm.
Think that.
Yeah, the dual ship is like the roads.
Right, exactly. Catan. So whenever you place your ship down, you have a couple of options. Each of these tiles have different resources on them. There are 5 different resources in the game, 5 different colors. Ironically, they're the same as the player colors, but that there is no tie-in that we could find between the player colors and the resource colors and faction colors, other than the fact that that's what you started the game with. That was literally the only tie-in, is you started the game with 2 of your color resource, unless you were purple, and then you only started with 1 because purple is powerful. Purple is the wild resource. All right, so you lay your ship down, and depending on where you lay it down, you do the actions that you have landed on, or the hexes that you are laying on. If you lay down your small ship, you have the option of laying it down directly on a hex and doing that one action. Or you can lay it onto an empty space next to a hex and explore. You explore, you take a tile from one of 3 different piles, you lay it out, you do the action on that tile, you get the resources on that tile, but you are dependent on that randomness of what you're pulling. It may not be what you actually need, but you're exploring. If you lay down the double ship, you can lay it between 2 existing tiles and do both of those actions and get all of those resources. And I'll come back to the actions. Or you can lay it on the edge of one and the edge of empty space. And again, use one of your actions to explore, and then you still get to activate that tile that you explored. Same thing with the 3 one. You can lay it down on the edge of a tile to explore and still do the actions of the other 2 tiles you're sitting on.
Or sit it on the corner of one and do
right,
do
explore
2.
twice, exactly. So it just depends on where you want to be. The ships are kind of twofold. They do the actions and get your resources, but they also represent power. Power comes in at the end of the game. Now, you're only ever going to do, and this is actually shocking considering this game is slotted for 60 to 150 minutes. So you're talking an hour to 2.5 hours. You only have 9 actions in the whole game, 9 turns. Let me rephrase that. You have 9 turns in the whole game. 3 turns, 1 ship per turn, 3 ships equals 3 turns per round. You play 3 rounds. Game's over. One of the biggest actions, and this is where the ability of your ships can be enhanced. One of your actions is the upgrade action. And this appears on the tiles. There are even some cards that let you do it. You pay resources And everybody's boards are slightly different, which I actually thought was very good because that meant not everybody was going after the same resources at the same time.
Yes, that was amazing.
So that was good. Like, for instance, the one I'm looking at is the purple board. That one says that there's 2 different ways you can upgrade, first of all. Let me start there. 2 different ways you can upgrade. You can upgrade with a cargo pack. That cargo pack lets you pick up double the resources that were on the space on every space you're on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put that, and you have to start with your small ship, you build up, you put the first upgrade on your small ship, the second one on your middle ship, and the third one on your big ship. If you put that on your small ship and you land on a tile, you now get double whatever that was. So if it says you get 2 green, you now get 4 green.
Mm-hmm.
If you put it on your middle ship and you get 2 green and 2 purple, well, now you're getting 4 green and 4 purple. The alternate side of that is the gun.
The railgun.
The railguns. If you put the railgun onto your ship, it gives you extra power when it comes time to score at the end of the round. We're going to come back to the scoring and what that power means. As you progress up, you have to make a choice because you can only put 1 upgrade on each ship. You have to make a choice of which one you're going to do because once you've passed it, you can't go back. You progress up this track. If you can get all the way to the top, you get 15 points out of progressing all the way to the top of that track. You get nothing if you don't get to the top. I was so focused on that. By gosh, I got my 15 points. I came in second.
I started, but I felt like mine were cost more.
I think so. I thought they were all 2 and 3 in the bottom one, 3 and 4 in the second one, and 4 and 5 in the last one.
It may have been. I just felt like I thought my first one was 3 resources I needed.
So you play through it this way. One of the actions is to do the upgrade, like we talked about. One action is the ambassador action. Off to the side of the board, or on the board still, but off to the side, are 4 ambassadors from the various factions. And if you have a combined total of strength and resources of 5, you can basically influence one of these ambassadors and they come to work for you. And you get their special ability for the rest of the game. At the end of the game, if you have a variety of ambassadors from all the different factions, you get a lot of points for that. So you want a variety. But at the same time, some of those powers are really good. Like I had a special power in purple that let me pay purple and get a free upgrade every turn if I wanted it.
Holy cow.
Of course, after that, nobody would trade me purple.
Right.
So I still got up to the top, but that's how I did it, is because I had that faction ability. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is the ambassador action. There was an action to pick up action cards. You pick up 2 cards out of a stack. They give you special actions like, oh, I don't know, do a free upgrade. Well, not free. You still got to pay for it, but it allows you to take the upgrade action when you're not on an upgrade space. Do an extra ambassador action. Take 2 cards away, take 2 points away during the final elections, all this kind of stuff. There's all sorts of different stuff there. You look at 2, you discard 1. It can be one of the 2 you just picked up. It could be another one in your hand that you're finding you're just not going to use. You could get rid of a dud. So that's that one. Then there was the one that influenced the
rider.
Votes. The rider. Thank you. It was a rider action. You start the game with 1 rider card in your hand. You did start with a couple action cards. You didn't get a choice on those. So those may be the duds you're throwing away. Anyway, you start with a rider card. When you do the rider action, you pull a card and you can compare the 2 and choose to lay one of them down. There are 4 spots open for rider cards that directly affect that round's voting at the end of the round. So you can play this out. And this could be something simple like if blue is in first place, then everybody discards 3 blue resources.
And each of those cards was customizable because you placed the cube on it to depict the color.
They were all totally generic. It just simply left a blank, and you have to pick the color that it actually affects. So it literally changes every round.
Mm-hmm. Or every game.
Every game, every round, period. The cards are never going to be the same.
No.
Okay, so there was that action. And I swear there's a 5th one, but now that we're looking at these tiles, I don't think there is. I think there is only 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are a set of faction cards up at the top of the board that are very expensive. They cost between 9 and 10, again, combination of power and resources to purchase. But once you get them, there's only 1 per faction. They are very powerful cards that, I don't want to say break the game, but they definitely give you a certain advantage toward a specific faction. For instance, there is a purple tile, and that purple tile allowed, and I want to say it was Mark that put it out, and it allowed Mark to, when he voted, and we're going to come to this, when he voted, his purple cubes were worth 3 instead of just 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it gave him that extra little boon for purple cubes.
But he also got to put out a purple tile.
He
This
did.
purple tile that gave a purple
Yes.
that you didn't have to
Yes,
auction.
and that's another thing. When you're collecting your resources, there are 2 different kinds of resources. There's resources you get to keep, and then there's ones that you have to give away as favors.
The other favors that you auction off.
You basically, yes, you're making trades for them.
Yes, that's it.
So they
trades.
go up in front of your board, in front of your player's screen, so everybody can see them. And before your turn is over, you have to try to trade these off. So great, I got 2 purple cubes that I can auction off. Purples are wild. They're powerful cubes. I need some orange. Does anybody have orange? Somebody else is going to give me 2 orange for them. Fantastic. I will trade you 2 purples for 2 oranges.
Yes, you're giving that other person those 2
You're giving them
purples.
2 purples, which are very, very flexible.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't get those 2 oranges out of them now, I have to throw these 2 purples away.
Yeah, nobody gets them.
Nobody gets them. And at least this way I get the 2 oranges out of it. Otherwise, I've got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a definite tie of, do I want to give this person 2 purples?
Mm-hmm.
What can they do with 2 purples? Because like I said, nobody was giving me purples after I got that purple card. I think I had 1, but it was hard to get them.
Yes, because
because I was using them.
Yeah, because most of the tiles out there that was giving purple out, it was as favors.
Yes. So you had to give them away.
And on the tile, the favor ones, you could tell which one were the favors because they were outlined in white.
Yes.
And there was more than just the purples that were favors.
Yeah,
all the
all
colors were out there.
Yep, there were. All right, so at the end of each round, everybody has their ships out. The board is now littered in ships. And you can't go in the same place. You can't put a 2-piece ship next to a 3-piece ship, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah. If somebody's taking up that
crowded.
corner, you can't put a 2-piece right there.
So you have to go someplace else. Now you start counting up power. Everybody has to vote which faction they want to score. So everybody's looking at where their ships are and how much power they have. Each of these tiles have colored rings around the edge of them. Some of them even have 2, which means they have double power, or they have power in 2 different factions. You're looking at where all your ships are and how many resources you have. Now, purples count as 2 of any resource if you want to spend them on that. In the first round, you get, I want to say it was 3 points for whoever came in first and 2 points for whoever came in second, multiplied by the amount of power you had on the board. So if you were sitting on 3 different locations of orange and you wanted orange to come in first place, that's 9 points. Now, it may be something for other people too, but that's still 9 points for you. By the end of the game, you're scoring, I think, 4 or 5 for first place. And there is a lot of stuff out there. There are ways to end up with 6 and 7 power in a specific color. So everybody bids. They all vote which ones they want. Everybody shows their little voting boards. And then you count up who's in, which colors are in first, which colors are in second. And you kind of go from there. Once we know where the votes stand, starting with the first player, they can play some of their action cards to either influence the vote, or on the top of each card is just a color band with that color cube. You could play it as another voting piece toward the color you want. If you're only a point or 2 away, you keep going round robin until you've passed, until everybody's passed, basically. Once you've passed, you can't come back in. But as long as one person hasn't passed, you keep going around the table until everybody passes, and then count up the final score. So you do this for 3 full rounds. So like I said, 9 turns in the whole game. And then whoever has the most points wins. There's a lot of final scoring. You've got your upgrade board and your ambassadors, and there are different cards that may give you extra points throughout the game. I really liked this game. I did not expect to like this game. When I sat down and he started before Mike even started explaining the game, he started setting it up. I'm going, oh, I'm not going to like this, but I'm not going to bow out now because they're setting up for 5.
Well, at first glance, when you see this sitting on the board, you're like, going, oh, this is an area-controlled dudes on the map
It
game.
does look like one.
You're not going to like that at all.
This is not. It's worker placement.
So, yeah, and when
it
he invited...
100% worker placement.
Yeah, when Mike invited us into the game, I was kind of like, okay, well, I'll play it. It'll be fine. I mean, I'll just have to deal with it. We're not big area-controlled dudes on the map type of players, though, but hey... We're going to play a game here.
We're going to play a game with 2 people we really enjoy playing with. And I had never played with Mark, so it was fun to play with Mark.
But he's from the retreat. He's
he
one of the
is
guys
from the retreat.
He drove all the way in from Columbus, Ohio to play.
We met somebody else we can game with this next week.
Yes.
I wanted to sit and play with Bruce and Mike. and like I said, get to know Mark more. So we sat and we played. I came in second. I only lost by 6 points to Mark.
Yeah. This thing surprised me. Now, I don't remember if you went over about the ambassador cards, how you got the ambassador card.
Yeah, I did.
About the power and that.
I did.
That was the one thing I blew in the entire game.
Yes.
I went almost 1.5 rounds.
Yeah.
Because it's 3 rounds and 3 turns per round or something like that.
3 rounds, 3 turns per round.
But I went a full round and almost about a quarter of the way or third of the way through the second round before I realized my error. I thought the ambassador card, you had to have 5 power and 5 resources to buy 1 card or whatever it said on the card.
You would never get that many.
I know, but
power, it's hard getting that much power.
I thought that's what I had heard, that it's 5 and 5 because it shows
5 plus
5 plus 5 and it shows the power and the card.
It shows 5 power plus. I want to say the cards show a single 5 and then the 2 icons.
It showed it. Well, it depended on the card for one.
Okay.
There was cards of different prices. I'm trying to find a picture of
There
one.
were some that were only 3 and 4. Yeah.
So yeah, it shows the resource icon and then the power icon, and it says 5. Or there's one that says 3, and then those next to it, and that told me it's like I need 5 resources, 5 power, and that's the way I was going until you bought your purple card you're talking about.
Yeah.
At 3,
and then you were
and
like,
you only
wait.
gave them like 3 resources or whatever it was. I was like, wait, it's either or a combination, and you were like, yes. I was like going, and this was like I said, this was after my first turn of the second round that I realized. So I spent the entire first round trying to amass resources and then try and figure out how was I going to get all this power. I lost this game, I lost this game by almost 50 points. Or 40 points.
I've got the scores.
I think it was like over
Hold
30.
on.
It was like 39 or 49, something like that.
Let me get back to it here. I was looking.
But I lost this game horribly to the point where at the end of the game, Bruce goes, "You did understand the rules of the game, correct?" That's like, yes.
Okay, so
I did now.
Mark had 90. I had 83. Bruce had 78. Mike had 60. And you had 44.
There you go. So it was almost a 50-point loss from first to last.
Yes.
But to be fair, I played at a handicap because there was plenty of cards that I could have bought and didn't think I had enough for it, and they would have helped me so much.
Yeah. Well, we want to play this again.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
matter of fact, this is on our active to-buy list.
Yes, it is in the retreats in the Dice Tower library. So if we can get our hands on it, this is going to be a very popular game to play.
And a couple of players because I don't want to play it at 2. I want to try to play it at least 4.
I want to see if Jeff will play it.
Yes.
He did not back this because he thought it was a social game. Because he asked me how it was while we were still playing. I said, so far, I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
We want to try and get Jeff to play this because I think he would like it. The game setup, it kind of tricks you because, like I said, even Mike Delisio thought that
it was going to be
looked like a dudes on a map game, and it's not. It's a worker placement, resource management game, and set collecting as well.
Yeah, I really liked this one.
It's really cool. It's really worth getting. The artwork on this is awesome. It's kind of like it's almost like the artwork on the cards. It's almost like that black light.
Yes.
Artwork, or the coloring of like a black light poster or something.
Yeah. That's why I was surprised that they don't have
the only knock I have against this game.
Okay, other than you misunderstood it.
Well, but I do that a lot in a lot of games. Was the cards that Mike had were the deluxe cards, and they were all foil cards.
Yes.
So where all the ambassadors were sitting on the table in this game, from where my point of vantage, I could not tell what color they were.
Right.
Like because the yellow cards looked like maybe
deceiving.
they were the red orange cards or the green cards. I couldn't. Were those yellow cards? They looked kind of gray to me from my angle because of the light coming in the window from the game store.
Yes, we did have the sun coming at us. So that
I
made
had
it hard.
a hard time because of the glare over the top trying to figure out what I'd have to stand up or just grab the card to see what it was.
Yeah.
And I didn't like doing that because I was reaching over Mike to grab a card, and I didn't want to be that rude. So I was having a hard time trying to figure out what was there.
Right. I agree
That's the
there.
only knock on this game.
Yeah, I was
had.
at the opposite end of the board from those, so I was definitely having a hard time with it.
So also in the game too, the 2 card actions that you could take of not getting the new action cards though, but the rider action and the ambassador actions.
Mm-hmm.
You could get the resource on the back of the card. The back of the card, and each card is not the same. You could get a different resource.
Yes, I meant to come back to that, and I forgot.
Yeah, so if you got an area, because that was one of the things I kept forgetting during the game, is that because I go to an area, I was like, I don't really need that ambassador action right now, but I really need that power, or I need those color resources, but I'm going to waste that action. I kept forgetting that if I took the ambassador action, I didn't have to purchase an ambassador. I could take whatever resource was on the back of the card that was showing on the face down deck.
And the ambassador gave you just a straight up resource of whatever color was coming up next.
Yes.
The action cards and the rider cards gave you a favor of purple.
Yes.
So if you didn't want to take the card action,
you could get a favor to auction off to get what you wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that was almost the only way you could get purple into your resource pile is to get it through a favor.
Through a favor card or off of one of the planets.
Yeah.
There were a couple sectors we found that had straight up purple on them, and not favor purple.
And then you could also use your, I think it was it the rider cards that had color on it, or was it the action cards had color? You could use an action card as a resource to purchase things as well, which is another rule that I kept I totally forgot about it.
I did too.
And I was like, oh man, there's so many ways to get your resources and your power in this game now. Yeah. If we can either find it on the way down to Orlando, because we are driving, and this year we are actually driving from Indy to Orlando via Mississippi.
Yes, we have not done a whole lot of sightseeing in Mississippi, so gosh darn it, we are going to sightsee through Mississippi this year.
After we do that one, it's the only one that's left. We've been to all 50 states.
Yes.
Idaho's the last one we really have to explore because we went through it at night, and it's like going through a county.
Yeah, basically.
in the area we went through, though. Yeah. But anyway, I definitely want to try and get this played. If we can get a hold of a copy while we're down there to play it out of because there's probably maybe 2 copies of this because it's just now fulfilling. I definitely want to play this.
One on the new shelf, the new game
shelf.
Oh,
yes. Oh, definitely. And who knows, maybe Mike will bring his copy down with us and we say, hey, Mike, you got Brink? Can we play this?
No, I can easily see this one vying for my number 1 from this year, from 2025.
Oh, yeah, easily. I think this is the most enjoyable game
we
that I've played so far.
We haven't played a whole lot of games released this year, but we've played a few.
We will after the retreat because we got a bunch of Gen Con releases too.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of Gen Con releases we're taking with us to play. But I feel like this one is definitely vying for first so far.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. So I don't know when it's supposed to hit retail.
I don't know. Hopefully in the next couple of days.
Yeah, the crowdfunding. I don't know. I don't remember if this was on Kickstarter or GameFound, whichever. But it's just now fulfilling. So once it gets all fulfilled, it'll hit retail. Right. But yeah, if you can get this played, I would definitely recommend it. I really like this.
If you like worker placement, don't let the board fool you. It is a worker placement game.
It's a beautiful board. I mean, it looks really cool. It's just the way the hexes are out there. I mean, you think it's a dudes on the map kind of area control game, but it is not.
Yeah, it's really not. The only area control is getting control of the power.
Because there are some tiles that have. Because the power on the card is the outlining of the
colored
tile.
Outline, yes.
And there's some of them that have 2 lines on it, which doubles your power.
Yes.
Which is really cool. Yep. So I guess this is a high recommendation from us.
Yes, I very much like this one. Like I said, it is an expensive game.
Yes.
Play it first if you can. But if you like worker placement, you like that space theme, it's a pretty good bet.
So this is going to do it for episode 95. Don't forget, check us out on Discord and leave us a comment that you want us to air on the 100th episode. But if you like this episode and any of our content and haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do so by going to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And while you're there, give us a rating and comment. This is how others can find the show. But in the meantime, if you want to follow us on social media just to keep up and see what we're doing, just follow the links in the show notes. There you'll find links to Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, Discord, Blue Sky, and our merch shop. Or you can contact us directly at meeplesociety@mail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.